Well, hey friends, it's Natalie. So glad you stopped by to hang out with me as I share with you the ultimate decluttering motivation video marathon. We're taking a look back over this last year, which was actually the first year in our new home, and I'm sharing with you the best of the messy to minimal episodes that I made. I've got whole house declutters with super satisfying piles of recyclables and donations to look through, as well as smaller, more focused declutters to get the ball rolling on any decluttering you may need some inspiration for. Along the way, I'm sharing my best tips and tricks, all while keeping it real and authentic. This video marathon has 2 hours of decluttering encouragement and gentle motivation in it, and I know it's a long one, so feel free to watch it in bite-sized segments or keep it playing while you tackle some housework this week. Whether you watch all or part of it, I'm glad you're here, and I want to say thank you for all the love in 2022. Stay tuned for next week's video, which is a marathon of the closet declutters that I did specifically. I'm really excited about that one too. So let's kick this video off with the first whole house declutter I did in 2022. We had just wrapped up the holidays and I was ready to get some clutter cleared out. If you're feeling that way too, let's get up and go. Quick embarrassing tour of my house. It is an absolute wreck. I have tried to stay on top of daily stuff like laundry and dishes and stuff like that, so you won't see that in this video. I've got stuff over here. The boys earned their screen time today, so we're using that right now so that mommy can film and declutter. Bedrooms are a bit messy. Guest bathroom is not so bad. Pantry is an absolute wreck. The boys' bedroom actually isn't too bad, but definitely could use a little bit of work. My bedroom is kind of a heap, especially on Weston's side, not naming names, but I mean, that's just the reality of it. I keep it real around here. And if you guys think I just threw my husband under the bus, wait till you see my office. It's bad. It's like real bad. So we are gonna start at one end of the house and work through to the other end. Today, maybe today and tomorrow, we'll see how long this takes me, but I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and get started. I'll be honest with you guys, the task of decluttering my whole house definitely feels a bit daunting, especially because I have never done an entire house declutter session since we've moved into this new house. And a lot of these things, they just don't have homes, or I've let bad habits creep back in. And of course, the holidays makes it that much harder when you have extra stuff and junk around your house to take care of. So I've actually had to go back and kind of retrain my brain and to think of the tips that I've shared with you guys in my past videos that have really helped me. And I was actually able to compile my top 5 tips for quickly and very effectively decluttering your house into a blog post. If you guys saw my video from last week, then you know that I announced I am behind the scenes working to put together a website for you guys where I will have blog posts and printables, and I'll be able to share all the extra content that I'm not able to make videos around. For those of you who sign up for my email list, I have that blog post ready to send to you, and part of that blog post is actually a free printable, so you guys can print out these 5 tips and keep them on the forefront of your mind if you are going around and doing some decluttering. I know I have been keeping these principles in my mind, and it was really great to be able to put this blog post for you as sort of a sneak peek of what is to come when my website fully launches in early 2022. I can't wait for that, and for those of you who are waiting, I have this to share with you. So there's a link in my description box where you can sign up for the email list, and I'll be sure to send that blog post to you when you do. Don't pay attention to the girl behind the curtain. Hello.
Hello.
We are looking much better in here. Quick rundown. I just went through each drawer and found the stuff that I no longer need. Did a quick little tidy and reorganization. I'm not like vacuuming out little bits
of hair or like makeup powder in there right now because it's not a cleaning day, it's a decluttering, organizing day. And this is like my hair products drawer. I've got some hair ties and bobby pins. I would like to get a little organizer in here, kind of like the one that I have here for this drawer, but I'm not going out and buying new organizational stuff for this project. I'm just using what I already have. I've got some curling irons and hair tools in here. I did get rid of one of them that had died on me. So that freed up room. This is just my essential oils drawer, which needs a better system of organization, but I'm not doing like fine-tuning organization today. I'm just doing the quick stuff that I can do. Underneath the sink, looking better. Got rid of the stuff that I no longer use, need, or stuff that was just like packaging. I found this, which is my Invisalign course that I went through over the last 9 months. I am done with my Invisalign. These are all the old aligners. And I don't know why I was holding on to this. I don't need this for any reason, so goodbye. And look at that, I already have a little pile of stuff that I've decluttered out, and now I'm moving into the bedroom here. I'm not gonna do Weston's vanity in there because he likes to do his own thing, and I totally respect that. Yes, you were sitting on a tripod in my bathtub, by the way. If it's an obvious like, oh, that is an empty bottle of shampoo, or that's like an empty Amazon box next to the bed, I can totally take care of that sort of thing, and that doesn't bother him, but he does like to do his own organizing and stuff like that. So I will let him, because I have plenty of other things to declutter and organize in this house. Starting with my little side table here and moving on into my office. Yes, you're seeing that right. I haven't made my bed today. Am I the only YouTuber who doesn't make their bed first thing in the morning? I have done most of my undecorating after Christmas, but there are still a few things around the house, like this Let's Mistletoe pillow that I put on our bed. Not decluttering this out, but I do need to find its home during the off season, which is in the Christmas tote. So I'm just gonna put that aside. Found it. Kids need lunch. Okay, lunch is done, and I have been sitting in my office, which still needs to be decluttered, and I wasted some time. Well, I guess it's not totally wasted. I started editing this video, you know, as an excuse to not get up and just get moving, because this space is overwhelming me so much. I think a lot of the time we see videos, especially like decluttering or organizing videos, and everything looks so simple to accomplish and so shiny, and I don't want to misrepresent how much work it actually takes to declutter. I try to give you like tips and tricks and steps to help lighten the burden, but it's still a burden to walk into a room that looks like a bomb went off during the holiday season and to try to figure out where to start. And I'm right there with you. I've literally been sitting for the last 25 minutes making excuses, and the hardest thing to get is going, and sometimes you just need a 3, 2, 1, get up off the chair. Setting a 10-minute timer can really help me get going. I want to accomplish all of this in 10 minutes. Think I can do it? Let's see. Not a beautiful or Pinterest-worthy office by any means, but it is functional. I was able to take some stuff out of here that just did not belong. This stuff has to go back out to the garage. I've got some gift stuff. I've got some gift wrap stuff. Can you tell we just came out of the holiday season? Looking good for now. Just needs a good vacuum in there. I have quite a bit of stuff that I found that I'm decluttering out. We have some recycling, an old tattered blanket that just doesn't have any good use. I'll probably take that to a local animal shelter. We have a perfectly good sound machine. However, in this house, we lose power all the time, and so we ended up getting the ones for the kids that have the battery backup. I'm gonna pass this on to one of my sisters who has a baby that could use a nice sound machine. Love the Hatch sound machines. They are by far the best, but that one I don't need anymore. It needs to go. A few other little odds and ends, packaging, stuff like that, some garbage from wrapping Christmas gifts. With the office being done and that only taking 10 minutes, it actually took less than that because I was able to pay a couple of bills, address a couple of envelopes. I'm feeling so much better, and I've got that decluttering ball start to roll here. I'm feeling like I can just keep working and keep conquering things like this closet. I'm not gonna spend too much time in here because I am going to do a total overhaul and like a closet clean out like I like to do seasonally. I need to do that for the winter, but I am just gonna pop in here really quick and find what I can super fast to grab out that I'm not gonna wear to put into a donation bag. Your room is atrocious? Do you want help cleaning it up, tidying it up? Okay, I'll help you. 2 pairs of pants, 2 shirts, 2 bras. We'll call that good for today. I get questions all the time about how do you get your kids involved. I have a lot to say about that, but the one thing I will say in this video is follow their lead. If they show an interest, hey, are you flashing your light in your bedroom? If they show any sort of interest or desire or like a need, like Haley was saying, my room is atrocious. Well, you know what? Instead of decluttering in the order of rooms that I wanted to, I'm going to kind of take a little bunny trail here and start in Haley's room because she is eager to get this figured out. Apparently all of them are. Do you guys want to help declutter Haley's room?
No.
No, okay, you don't have to. I was wrong about that. Not going through her room with a fine-tooth comb. I can do closet cleanouts, I can do total toy overhauls anytime, but today we're focusing on the stuff that immediately stands out to us, and I actually think that's a really good way to do it with kids because it helps them really recognize the things that they don't like, and there's not this like really tough decision making. They go, don't play with that anymore, bye, or that's a literal piece of garbage, get it out of here, or that sweater doesn't fit me anymore, rather than going through every single piece and making them go through the process, the emotional process of making these tough decisions. Quick decluttering sessions with kids is where it's at. If it works for adults, it works even better for kids. And now it's time to do the same thing in the boys' room. I only film in my kids' rooms with their permission, and the boys aren't feeling it today, so I totally respect that. I will show you, however, what we come up with to take out of here. Okay, this is what we're adding to the pile from the boys' room. They're actually still working in there, so I might add a couple of things. Unfortunately, this FAO Schwartz, like, matte piano thing, it does not work very well. We got that for them this Christmas, and I bought it actually last year, so I'm outside of the return window. We used it for 2 days and then it totally broke. So unfortunately it has to go, along with this bee honeycomb lamp thing that's totally broken. We've got this set of puzzles, but we're missing so many pieces. There's just no point. So that's gonna get recycled. And then we have a bunch of clothing that they've outgrown that we're gonna bag up for the donation center.
Stand up and scared of the dark anymore. Time to donate it. You weren't scared last night.
So my kids' rooms is one of the places in the house that I feel least guilty about moving on from things and decluttering things. Because the reality is they outgrow clothing, they use toys that end up wearing out and breaking, or they outgrow toys and it's no longer at their skill or interest level. We try to be really conscious of the stuff that we are bringing into our house and consuming and choosing to own, but it doesn't matter. You can be the strictest minimalist and still have children grow and still have pantries of food that gets consumed. The whole notion that minimalists shouldn't buy anything is so ridiculously false because children grow and we need to eat. Also, we're human. Our interests change. Our season of life changes. Speaking of pantry, that is going to be picked up tomorrow. I've just about had it with decluttering. I skipped a lot because we worked a long time in the boys' room, but it's pretty late. It's time to start making dinner for today. So I'm gonna pick it back up tomorrow. I'm gonna keep this little pile of stuff. It's not a little pile anymore. It's definitely growing. The stuff that I've decluttered so far, and keep that by the front door because I like to show you what I decluttered out at the end of my whole house decluttering. So we worked on the bedrooms today, and tomorrow we're working on the kitchen and living spaces and the pantry. So I will see you then. Hello, hello. It's the next day, another decluttering session. I just have to say it was so nice this morning to wake up in a room that was decluttered, to step into an office that was decluttered, and it's making me want to get the rest of the house done. Here is the room. This is the laundry side. I have a load of whites soaking in bleach right there. That's why that's paused. I just need to tidy stuff up, find empty bottles, find things that I don't use anymore to declutter out. You know the drill. And then over on this side, I have some groceries to put away. The holidays definitely take a toll on a pantry or a kitchen just because there's extra stuff, there's weird items, and stuff is all a bit helter-skelter, including some random toys that don't actually belong in here. Okay. I will say the work that I put into initially setting up this pantry, doing a bunch of decluttering and organization in here has gone a long way to help us maintain the room itself as a whole. Right now, however, it just kind of looks like the holidays came in here and threw up all over it. So I just need to get everything back where it goes. We hosted people, I did stocking stuffers, so we have a lot of this sort of empty packaging stuff that I need to throw into the recycling pile. If something is unopened or perfectly good, I do donate to a local food shelter. And I probably have just a couple of things like that. Into my laundry room. That feels so good. I definitely have a good collection. Most of this is food packaging and stuff. So I'm gonna separate the plastic out from the cardboard so that we can recycle appropriately. I'm gonna get that load starting again and move on to the kitchen, which I believe goes hand in hand with the pantry. So here's the deal in the kitchen. We have a kitchen remodel planned for this month. It's probably in the next few weeks or so, where we're ripping everything out and putting new stuff in. I actually shared the reason why we're doing this because this was unexpected. And then also the details of the new kitchen, the cabinet layout and the island that we're putting in, and all of the plans and dreams and schemes for it in another video, which I will link in the description box. And I keep telling myself, like, the motivation to get this kitchen decluttered is that in the end, I'm gonna have a really beautiful functional kitchen once we do the remodel, and everything that I declutter out today is just one less thing that I have to declutter or deal with when I'm packing up these cabinets before the demo starts. That's something that can be sort of a hang up for a lot of people. If you're moving, if you're remodeling, if you're changing your space or redoing things, you think, oh, I'll do all the decluttering when we get closer to it. But I'm here to tell you that there's no such thing as decluttering too early. Everything that I declutter today is one less thing I have to declutter tomorrow. That's my attitude toward it, and it's actually really helped me just get started and get going. So let's do that. Let's get started, let's get going and do this kitchen. We literally put this bag of candy popcorn in this this cabinet the day we moved in. It is probably so stale by, let me try it. Still good. These actually don't belong with my everyday wear. They belong with my hostess wear, which I'll show you in a second. We recently upgraded our butter keeper. We used to have this one with this little wooden lid. We had this for years. It worked fine, but it was really frustrating that it always got grimy under here. And I feel like even though we do go through a lot of butter, the amount that this holds, it would just go rancid pretty quickly. So we upgraded to this one, which my mom had one of these. I think she still does. I grew up with this sort where there's a little bit of cold water in the bottom of this, and then it seals off the butter from going rancid, and the butter is just kept in this, and then you can put like this on the table and scoop butter out. It works beautifully and so much better. So I'm keeping this one because it works good, and we are donating this one. A few things from under the sink that are empty or I don't use anymore. So the cabinet you're sitting in right now is kind of our wraps cabinet. I have some Ziploc bags, some like parchment paper, aluminum foil. I have some of these silicone Ziploc bags, which work really well. What's not working really well is this. I really wanted this to work. This is like a Ziploc bag organizer. This is getting donated. I'll take the bags out of it that are in there. We don't go through very many Ziploc bags, but whenever I did reach for one, it just was a disappointment. It was more trouble than it's worth. I got a little pile, a little collection of stuff going on there that is gonna get decluttered out. I'm just gonna pop here to the little school room, like the kitchen nook area, see if I can just immediately find anything. I did a big declutter of our stuff before we moved, and then when I was setting this room up in here, which we actually have piles of. Our new flooring is under these tablecloths. We hid them for when we were hosting people on Christmas Eve, and that's where they ended up. So I've got this random thing. I think this is one of Weston's knee pads, but he upgraded to a better one for his job. I have an empty candle here that I can get rid of. Okay. I have this little stick-on a motion sensor light that hasn't worked since day one, so that can go. Goodbye. Inside the school cabinet itself, I'm not really seeing anything immediately that jumps out to me, and that's okay. Everything in there is really, it's quite curated already, so I'm just kind of grabbing at garbage and stuff. So I'm gonna add this stuff to my little growing pile. The dining room is just a table and chairs, so there's really nothing to declutter out of there. But this is, like I was saying before, part of my hostess wear collection. And right now I have totes underneath these tables here that holds all of that stuff. So my trays, servers, chafing dishes, little, you know, condiment bowls and stuff like that, charcuterie boards, pie servers, tongs, all of that stuff that we pretty much only use when we do have guests over. Focus camera, thank you. It is all just kind of under here. And the plan for this corner of our house is to have sort of like a buffet with cabinetry, upper and lower, possibly. And that's where I would store all of our serveware and dinnerware and stuff like that, so that it's easy to access and set up if we have unexpected guests. We don't have to go in and out to the garage on the other side of our yard to go, you know, get all of this stuff. So right now it's temporarily under these tables. So I think that's it for right now as far as the dining room, kitchen area goes. It's not perfect. This whole setup with these folding tables with black tablecloths over them, this is not ideal. And this stuff will definitely have to be moved out of here when our contractor comes to put in the new flooring for this area. There's not much I can do about it right now. Not like the kitchen. I am so glad that I found this stuff to declutter out, because like I said, it's all this less things to do when it does come time to do the demo in the kitchen. So now we're in the living room. Is there anything in my piano bench? Let's see. I don't use these beads. I got these for Christmas and they ended up not being what I wanted. So I think I'm gonna declutter these out. One more thing to the pile. And then we have our entertainment center, which is quite unorganized right now because we actually added a Nintendo Switch console to our collection. We have an Xbox, now we have a Nintendo Switch as well. And so there's odds and ends and random little pieces of this sort of thing, but we need this sort of thing. I just need to go in here and actually organize it. However, there are some things in here that we don't need, like my hot water bottle that has a crack in it. Why have I kept this? Goodbye. I have a bin of media stuff. Weston just got a new HDMI cable, and so I know the old one that we had, we don't need anymore because he got like a faster one, so this can go. I bought Weston a nice pair of blue light glasses for Christmas this year, so he no longer needs this pair that he has had taped together, so that can go. Then we have the game cabinet, which this thing, I think the bracket fell down, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But right off the bat, I can find this card game that we lost the other pieces to, so we can get rid of that. And that brings me to, as I scoot along the floor, that brings me to our blanket basket. We don't have a linen closet in this house, so linens and blankets and stuff have a different place than what's typical for me. I've had this blanket forever, but man, it is just like threadbare. I never reach for it anymore. And since it's still winter, we're keeping the Snoopy snow, what is he doing? He's having a snowball fight or building a snowman with woodstock, I think that's what it is. So we're not ready to quite put that away. That brings me to the wood stove, which is a daily declutter. You gotta shovel those ashes out, and I already did that today. So with that, I think we're done. Okay, definitely a good pile of stuff that we found to get rid of. More garbage this time than what's typical. And while we do try to reduce our waste, sometimes, especially after the holiday season, you just end up with a bunch of cardboard. Thankfully, we are able to recycle a good amount of this stuff, so that's good. I am so glad that I went through all of this today. The rooms that I worked in, the whole house feels so much better, so much more under control. I'm excited now to like scrub down my house and clean it and make it all shiny and nice. And that's a big thing that I have learned. Don't wait until your house is clean, like sparkly clean, before you do your decluttering, because stuff hinders the process of cleaning. The two jobs really do go hand in hand. It's like a symbiotic relationship. When you declutter, it makes cleaning easier, and when you clean stuff up, it makes you want to declutter more, and so it's just this nice little cycle that works to your benefit. I would much rather clean in a decluttered space than declutter in a clean space. I don't know. How do you feel? What would you do first? Would you clean or would you declutter? Decluttering is where it's at for me. So now I'm just going to go through everything and make a pile of garbage and a pile of donatables. Get donatables in the van and take it where it needs to go. Weston will take care of the garbage / recyclables for us, but I feel like we're in a good place.
Oh, it feels so good to get stuff cleared out of our house and moved on from, and now we're gonna move on to our next video that I did that I want to share in this marathon. This is the next whole house declutter that I did, and this is fast forwarding a little bit into the summertime, so you're going to notice that things look a little different around our house. We had some remodeling done. I talk about it a bit in this video with the kitchen organization and decluttering that I do, and if you haven't gotten up yet to do some decluttering with me already, then this would be a great time to get up and get started. Let's fast forward several months and make it through my entire house once again. Right now, I'm feeling a bit stressed out. We have some clutter creep going on. The last few months have just been crazy, crazy busy with remodeling our house, with building a homestead, growing kids, homeschooling, adding a couple of new family members, and all of the clutter that comes with that. It's just real life. I'm keeping it real with you guys today. We're gonna work on the hot spots around this house, and hopefully by the end, get rid of some stuff, reorganize some stuff, repurpose or rehome some other stuff, and have a more simplified, peaceful home. If that sounds good to you, give the video a thumbs up, drop this emoji in the comments, and let's get started.
Okay, here is what it was built as the breakfast nook for this home originally. I have plans that I've shared before to turn this into our school and like computer lab room, homeschooling space. Right now it's just kind of multi-purpose. We just have a conglomeration of a bunch of different stuff. This is kind of like a little hobby room. I've got plant starting supplies in here that I've got to go through and take care of. We adopted kittens last week, and so I have some supplies that are still in here. The kittens have been moved out to our bonus room. That's all heated and comfy and fun for them. There's just still some stuff in here that needs to go. And then we come to like the actual function of what this room was meant to be, and that's like to house our homeschooling stuff and apparently my half-opened makeup bag. And if you're thinking to yourself, Natalie, that room does not look that bad. Oh, just you wait. My office, I'm so tempted to go pre-tidy before I show you what it looks like in there because it's crazy. Try not to think of that. Let's deal with the room at hand. Clutter in your house from kids drawing pictures and you just don't know what to do with it, but you can't bear to throw stuff away. Sketchbooks, game changer. Typically on a decluttering and organizing day, I like to keep myself on task by not listening to the voice telling me to start cleaning. I really wanted to wipe down these windowsills. I noticed some dirt and grime in our window tracks, and I just had to ignore that and move on. I could spend so much time in a room detailing and cleaning, and that time would be taken away from the task at hand, which is going through our inventory and finding things that don't belong. Today, however, I had to get my vacuum out because while I was cleaning up in here, I noticed that there was still some kitty fur left behind after we had our new rescue kittens sleep in here for a couple of nights after we adopted them. They have since been moved to our warm, secure bonus room that we have in our shop building on our property. It's the perfect cozy home for them and they love it in there. And I am so excited to introduce them to you in an upcoming video. But if you'd like a sneak peek, I've been sharing them over on my Instagram. So I will link that below. They're the sweetest, most precious pair of kittens and you're gonna love them. But for now, let's get back to decluttering. Okay, this room is looking so much better and it just feels better knowing that I don't have extra stuff in there. We have a box. I always take a box and a garbage bag with me when I do decluttering. I can donate some stuff, throw away some stuff. It has some hostess wear in it because we had some guests for Easter time. I still need to bring this back out to the garage, but I may be finding a spot for this in here. We shall see. We have our stack of things that need to go back to the library. And then you can imagine with the rest of what I just took out of here, a little kitten gate and a little package of kitten food. Decluttering isn't always just throwing stuff away. Sometimes it's finding stuff that's in the wrong spot and rehoming items around your house or in your storage that need to go. I'm gonna do the Dana K. White method and declutter without making a bigger mess. So right now, before I move on to the next room, I'm going to pause and take this stuff where it goes. Okay, before I move on to hot spots in the kitchen, I'm in the dining room area, general area. The dining room is just a table and chairs, so there's nothing to declutter technically in there. But I'm here at this bar that we have at the back of our island, and I have some storage cabinets here, which just kind of have a random assortment of things in them. I thought that I would store hostess wear, table linens, and stuff like that in here. And it does have that stuff, but I also have like old tiles that we had for our project that I just have stored under here. I've got like the blueprints and stuff that we used for putting together our kitchen cabinets when we remodeled, paint samples and stuff like that. So there's stuff that definitely doesn't belong, things I can pass on. And then what I'm thinking is I will put hostess ware, like that serveware, and linens and stuff in this cabinet. But we have a second cabinet here that I would like to utilize for storing my laptop and cord. I'd like to put some camera supplies in here because yes, I have an office that's kind of like a studio and I can put some of that stuff in there, but I need it close at hand to access when I'm filming out in the rest of my house. I'm not filming in my office, I'm filming out here. And then also I wanna put my gel manicure set, like my supplies and stuff that I have for that, in this cabinet as well, because this is where I sit to do that. It's great lighting, I've got outlets here at the bar, I can sit here and do my nails, and I haven't done my nails anywhere else in the house since we got this remodeled. It might not make sense to some people are organizers by category, so if it fits into the beauty category, everything has to go in one place, and I'm just not like that. My style of organization is much more, if I use it and grab it in this spot, if I look for it in this spot, this is where it belongs. And sometimes people will find interesting things around my house, but you can thank ADHD for that. We'll just call it my superpower. How about that? Don't need paint samples anymore. And don't need the tiles anymore. Looking much better in here, and there's actual order, and this whole cabinet has a very clear purpose, a clear intention. So we have some daily linens that we use, like placemats and stuff. We have our gold flatware that we use when we have guests over, some coffee serving supplies, which this is in addition to like the few coffee mugs that I have in my daily cabinet. When we have family and friends over for holidays, there can be 25 to 35 people here. So we definitely need to keep a few extra on hand. And then we just have a basket for like casual get-togethers of disposable flatware and plates and stuff like that. And then I have a candle shelf, which there are a few other candles that I have in random places around the house that now will have a home when I find those, and I can just pop them up there. So that cabinet is looking great. And then over here, I just need to do a quick little vacuum out. We've got some sawdust and stuff in here that's actually still here from when we remodeled and installed these cabinets. And then I'll be able to make this sort of the Natalie cabinet. Yay, these cabinets finally have some organization and a clear purpose. This makes me so happy. So just like we did with the schoolroom, I'm gonna declutter without making a bigger mess and get this stuff where it goes before I move on to the next room. Alrighty, looking better, feeling good about what's in there. Added a few more things to this box, some donatable, some trashable. Definitely will be donating these. Actually, I'll probably offer these to family first. I just had a couple of these different style crystal goblets that I found under there that we never reach for because we use the more like wine glass style. And then I have some nail polishes that I don't use anymore. I donate perfectly good cosmetics to a specific place here in Washington. So I'll link that below for you guys if you're in the area and you want a place to donate that to help women in need. So adding it to this box of stuff, and now we're going to move on to one hot spot in the kitchen. As you can see, this is just real life, you know, messes and stuff, which I'm not here to clean. We have breakfast situation, smeared butter on the countertop. I'm trying to ignore all of this to just work on what I've got going on this lower shelf. My kids are literally banshee shrieking right now, and it sounds like they're taking flying leaps off the bed. In the bedroom down the hall, you're gonna hear that in the background. Hashtag mom life. But as far as this corner cabinet, this is called a Super Susan. As far as this goes, the top layer is working beautifully. This system for all of our dry goods, flour, pancake mix, rice, oats, it's amazing. It works so well, and I'm very happy with it. And the organization of this spot has really maintained itself, which is awesome. However, the opposite is true for what's going on here on the bottom shelf. I also unpacked a box of stuff. Oh, there we go. See, stuff is just falling to the side. It's difficult to spin around. I have too much stuff in here. I unpacked some stuff from a moving box that I found in the garage when we were working on getting that all set up for the kittens out there. I have doubles of cake pans and sizes and stuff that I don't need. Here's something that I can probably just say goodbye to. Cupcake liners. I don't make cupcakes. If I'm gonna make cake, I'm gonna make a cake, not a cupcake. And I probably wouldn't even think to use the liners anyway. So this is something I can probably safely say I have never used baking cups, ever. And if I was going to, like if I had a need for these, I would probably get those silicone baking cups that you can reuse. Storing these, why do I have these? I've never used them. I like to keep stuff like this on hand for when I make a meal for a person in our church or a family or friend who's in need, like someone has a baby or has some illness that they're going through. But Weston actually has a collection of these with his barbecue stuff that I could just add this to. It doesn't need to live down here. Okay, that is better. Not perfect, but better. Have our two his and her aprons, a little bit of cheesecloth, my bread bowl, sprinkles, some of those like cake decorating, like supplies, candy making, stuff like that I did choose to keep on hand, cake pans, bundt cake pan, and then like the everyday pans, casserole dishes and stuff that we use. And apparently a shrieking child in the background, but that looks better. And then this is what is going into the donation bin. I did have these like Lazy Susan corner bins at one point. I got these before we even remodeled, which, word to the wise, take it from me, wait to get organizational stuff until you actually are in your new house, until you actually have the remodel done. Don't buy organizational stuff in advance. Every time I do, I regret at least one of the things that I buy, and it's so not worth it. That's just been my experience. Some of this stuff is perfectly good. I just don't need it and won't use it, so it's going. Bye. That hotspot is done. Stuff is in the box. And as far as the rest of the kitchen goes, honestly, the organization has been holding up really good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not totally falling apart. It's just, you know, we live here, so stuff looks a little helter-skelter sometimes. But there's not really another hot spot around the kitchen that needs help. There's just, you know, lots of crumbs and abandoned sandwich making supplies because now the kids are playing outside. There's always something to clean, always something to tidy, but I'm focusing on those hot spots for this video, and that was one of them. Feels better. Oh, and there goes a waffle at 2:28 in the afternoon. It's one of those days. Okay, moving out of that side of the house into the center of the house, which is our living room, to the one hot spot we have here, which is this TV cabinet unit thing we've got going on here. Oh, he's riding his bike with no helmet, but the helmet is hanging off of his handlebars. I've got to fix this, then I'll tell you about the TV cabinet. Hey buddy, the helmet goes on your head. Oh, cute!
I drove past it.
Could you put the helmet on your head, please?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe some shoes on your feet too?
Okay.
Can I throw you your shoes?
I don't need shoes.
Okay. Where was I? This cabinet here I have shown before, and it just continues to be the bane of my existence. And not the cabinets themselves, they're actually really nice. We got these at Target and it's 2 of them put together. I get questions on these all the time. The cane front allows for nice airflow with our Xbox running. It's actually just the stuff inside and the way it's all situated here that it just drives me a little bit bonkers. This isn't even the bad cabinet. This one over here, which is where we store some games and stuff. Oh my gosh, this is not working for me. My kids love games, but it's like a game in and of itself to get the stuff to go back into the cabinet. Oh, it looks like the little shelf in there is actually crooked, like broken or something and leaning. So this is gonna take a lot of the work that I've gotta do here, but I'm gonna work on this side first, just to go through this bin that I have. Again, I don't really like bins, but sometimes you need them for little scrappy stuff like this just to keep it contained. But this doesn't even belong in here because we actually have our Nintendo Switch out in the bonus room in the garage, and the kids play out there and hang out with the kitties. Weston works out there. So we have some stuff that actually belongs in the garage, some other stuff like these orange cords that we got a long time ago that we have better alternatives to, so I can just declutter some stuff and rehome some other stuff. So let's do that. Found several cords that we just have consolidated with some other cords that are better. Can donate those. I can also donate this. We have an Apple TV like receiver thing that our new TV is actually built in with. And then these for our Nintendo Switch. These are going to go out in the garage. These are getting donated. This is looking so much better in here. We got some Xbox stuff on the top, extra controllers, those are charging, headset, DVD case. I have a little bin here for a hot water bottle or a rice pack or whatever if we've got aches and pains and we're sitting on the couch. And then I keep this bin for toddler and baby toys for when my nieces and nephews or my friend Tess brings her little ones over and we want like specifically baby toys. My kids don't store any toys, any of their toys like out here in the living room. All of that is in their own bedrooms, so we keep this stuff separate. So that is looking better. And now we are moving on to this beast. And as I'm looking at it here and hyping myself up to tackle this, I'm really feeling like the best solution is just to not use this cabinet as our game cabinet, especially because we've actually added to our collection and I have a tote in my office that we're storing other games. My mom got the kids some games for Christmas. I got Haley a couple of games for her birthday. My kids love games. Just don't love trying to figure out how to store them. Do any of you have a solution? I'm open to special baskets and bins if it really helps. So send me links or offer solutions and ways you do it. For now, I think I'm going to take everything out of here, turn this into our book cabinet because we need a spot for books. They're just kind of scattered everywhere. We have a lack of storage in this house. We do not have a coat closet. We don't have a linen closet. So there's no closed off area for us to store the things like board games that we were storing in our closets. Like we had all of our board games in our entry closet in our old house. And that system worked great. This does not. So let's take everything out of here and find a new home for it, probably on a shelf in my office. And as I go, I'm not just gonna like transfer stuff straight into there. I'm going to go through this stuff just to make sure that we don't have like a 1,000-piece puzzle that only has 400 pieces left. Like that sort of thing, I need to declutter out. The other stuff, I just need to find a different place in my house for. Another cord. Oh, look at those kids living in the 90s with no pressure from social media. I'm going to donate Candyland because my kids never play it. And I actually want to get the more classic version and we're missing lots of pieces. So I got this at a thrift store and it wasn't complete. That is why the shelf was crooked. There's literally only one of these brackets left, and I can't find the other 3. So right now the shelf is just kind of sitting in there. Probably see if I can order some on Amazon. In the meantime, I'll stack books in here in the open space as I find them when I go throughout the rest of the house. I actually think there's a box, like a moving box of books in my office. I feel like everything in this declutter is culminating into what I have to do in the office. Again, it's crazy, but what's in here is looking good for now. I'm gonna move on into the pantry because it needs a little help in there. It's not too bad, mostly just like empty boxes of stuff that were put back on the shelf or empty things of laundry detergent. Actually, I do have some restocking to do because I headed to Target the other day and they had some stuff on sale to restock. So kind of the opposite of decluttering right now because I'm putting more stuff into our stock, but that's the nature of pantries. Everything is in order in here. This pantry, it's not pretty, but it works so well for us. Very little in our lives is actually Pinterest worthy because it's function over fanciness for us. This works so well. And I can come in here and tidy it up. I've been filming for 3 minutes. Like, I can tidy things up so fast when they actually have an order to things. And the huge reorganization that I did in this, it's really holding up really, really well. It's been like this for 2.5, 3 months now. Yeah, about 3 months now. It's going really great. It's great to have this second fridge in here. Store our little grocery bags in there so we can reuse them. Found a good bundle of stuff, mostly like empty food packaging and stuff that just needs to go get recycled. I am going to call it a day for today and pick up the camera tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Hello, it's the next day. Welcome back. I am feeling both motivated as well as overwhelmed, which is kind of a weird mixture of feelings, but I'm rolling with it. I decided after taking a peek into my kids' bedrooms that the office space, this space right here off of our primary bedroom, is definitely the worst spot in the house and it deserves more of the attention. So that's what we're gonna do for the rest of this video. I was going to make this like a whole house declutter with me and go through all of the rooms, but you know what? If there's anything I've learned through decluttering and simplifying, it's that you chase after peace. And I will feel more at peace getting this space done. I also wanted to work on cleaning some stuff out of my closet, but I think that'll also be a separate messy to minimal episode, maybe like a summer closet clean out capsule wardrobe video. Stay tuned for that, as well as a kids clothing and toys room overhaul episode of Messy to Minimal. Today, we're gonna work on this beast of an office. It's so bad. Did I pre-tidy in here? No, I did not. In fact, the exact opposite happened, and a certain little 5-year-old made her way into this room and knocked over a tote that I had of stuff. And it is even worse in here than it was yesterday. This is pretty embarrassing. Let's take a look. Okie doke. Oh my gosh. This room. I want to cry. So the moving boxes that I have on this shelf, these are the only ones left from our move, and they hold things in them that I've been waiting to set out when we do certain remodels. So this dining room one, this needs to go in like the school room. I think I have a printer in there. I have to go through these. I don't know that I'm going to get to all of these today because I think the priority in here is just to get the stuff up off the floor, get a little bit of organization and order in this place. There is stuff in here that I haven't even touched probably since Christmas time. We have this old drone that's broken. We don't use it anymore. We upgraded to a better one. I have wrapping paper and gift boxes and stuff like that, along with just random stuff that I have thrown in here that I wasn't able to take care of while we were doing a bunch of remodeling and renovations in our house and on our property. I have big plans for this office space. I want built-in cabinetry and a beautiful desk area, and I want it to be cozy and functional and just a really inspirational place to be. Right now, that's not where we're at. I have to be really honest about like the season of life that we're in. We haven't been in this house even a year yet, and we've already changed so much in the house that I just have to keep reminding myself that stuff takes time, and I want that to be an encouragement to you guys. If you have a room like this, a space like this, a garage like this at your house, you don't even know what you're looking at anymore, you haven't looked through this stuff in months, you are not alone in feeling overwhelmed by it, but you can get through it. There will come a time when you can get through it. I'm not gonna get through every single thing in this room today, but I am gonna make some serious progress. If you have anything to declutter around your house, it doesn't have to be the worst room in your house like this office is for me. It can just be a drawer that you need to declutter. Why don't you get on up and do it with me? It's always nice to be able to work with a buddy. I'm glad you're here. Let's tackle this.
Oh, it's so good to be free. Your rules don't apply to me, no. I blow away all the pressure to measure up to what don't mean nothing. Oh, it's so good to be free, yeah.
I've already made good progress. I'm feeling like Chessie from The Parent Trap. Although maybe it's the fluffy hair and the denim shirt. I'm just getting Chessie vibes and I'm not mad about it.
No slave to society, no. I realize that to fit in is quitting.
Another moving box unpacked. Only taken 9 months.
As me.
Yay, found the books.
I don't need the look or the trend. I'll be the least cool of my friends. You can have all that. I won't please the pack, 'cause I'm free.
And there's our printer. Yes.
Be whatever I choose to be. Oh, it's so good to be free.
Making lots of progress on this shelf here. I actually thought I would have to bring in another shelf to complete this project, but I think with what I'm decluttering out of here, I don't have to, which is awesome. I had 2 boxes that had homeschool stuff in it. A lot of it was books. A lot of it I'm actually donating. We're moving on from Kids Have Grown. Well, we don't need it anymore. And so I was able to consolidate a few things into this one box. I have a lot of like decor items, like display items for our eventual homeschool room. These are things that I've had for years. They're really special to me, like this Little House on the Prairie set of books. This is my original one, and I want to keep it for when I build shelves and have a nice little display area in this house's homeschool room. I'm just not there yet. Okay, this side of the room is looking so much better. It is not perfect, but it is progress. I'm always trying to keep in mind progress over perfection. And I'm gonna try to make some more progress now on this side of the room.
Oh, it's so good to be free. Your rules don't apply to me. No, no, I blow away all the pressure to measure up to what don't need nothing. Oh, I'm finally free.
Well, that was 3 hours of my life well spent. And if you would have told me 3 months ago, 9 months ago, that it would only take me 3 hours to get through all of that, I would have picked any Saturday to do it. It's crazy how fast this process goes, especially after doing it for a while. How we build it up to be this huge thing in our heads that somehow we can't do it and we have to set aside days to get through stuff. There are projects that take days. This one, however, nope, 3 hours later, and I have an office that is the cleanest and tidiest and most minimal it has ever been. This was truly messy to minimal. This lived up to the series name. I have everything for future remodels. So I have my office remodel in these boxes. Actually, in these 3 boxes, I have my homeschool room remodel in that box up at the top. We have some household stuff here. Our games are fitting here just fine. I have some craft supplies and stuff here on this shelf, some things that I use for photo shoots or staging videos. Around here, I have some stuff on the bottom that's for my bedroom remodel, so decor pieces and stuff that came from our old bedroom. I didn't even go through any of that. I'm sure there's stuff that I could declutter out, but I had to do what was priority. This big eyesore of a pile in the corner is just how it has to be right now. I just ordered from Amazon a organizer for rolls of wrapping paper and bags and stuff like that. I have kids' Easter baskets, probably just going to take those out to the garage. This tote here is gifts and stuff that I collect throughout the year for the kids or for friends and family that I keep in this tote close at hand if I have to put a gift together or if I'm planning for a holiday. I have a bag of Old Navy returns that need to go. Sewing machine is in that tote. I have another bar stool in that box. It's just, you know, multi-purpose, multi-use, but at least I can sit over here at my desk or I can sit over here at my little electric piano and have some peace and some space in my mind that's not being cluttered by the clutter. It's contained. We decluttered so much. Let me show you this pile. Here it is. Oh my goodness. This is insane. Everything over here, this is all donatable. I'm not sure about the drone though. I'm gonna ask a question about that, but everything else is like perfectly good stuff that we're gonna pass on. This box is the only box that actually has garbage in it or like recyclables. And right now I'm gonna insert a clip of the pile of all the other stuff that I found throughout the house yesterday. Weston actually already took that pile out of here, so I can't show you everything all together, but you can just add it up in your mind. This is a lot of stuff. I will say most of this stuff that I found to declutter, I mean like a good 90-95% of it is stuff that I packed when we moved, stuff that I found in moving boxes. And guess what? I decluttered as I was packing those. So I ended up finding a lot of stuff to not take with us when we moved. It's just crazy how much simple living and the principles of minimalism have become more and more important to me, even in a bigger space with more room, more elbow room around here. It's still so important to us to keep things simple, and I feel so much better and lighter moving on from this stuff.
One of the areas of the house that I get asked the most about is books and games. And so the next video that I'm sharing with you in this marathon is a focused declutter, a focused messy to minimal episode where I tackled books and games specifically, put some new systems in place. Not only are we decluttering in this video, but there's also some fun organization as well. If you're enjoying this marathon so far and you're still watching, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't gotten up yet to do some decluttering yourself or some housework, we have plenty of this video left. We're about halfway through, and I would love it if you would join me.
I'm feeling really motivated to finish the project of organizing and decluttering our books as well as our board games. I talked about this in a previous Messy to Minimal episode, and today we're sort of doing the follow-up to that. Kids grow, they break things, they outgrow clothing, they outgrow board games, as we will see today. And I just want to be an encouragement to you guys that you don't have to take on your entire house. You don't have to do something totally extreme in order to enjoy the benefits of a good decluttering session. So we're gonna have a couple of good decluttering sessions and organization sessions today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you do, and drop this emoji in the comments so that I can come say hello. We're gonna start with books and this little like TV unit area. So let's do that. Okay, if you guys saw my last Messy to Minimal episode, then you'll remember that I did a big declutter in our TV unit. This is actually 2 units put together under our TV. This side we have for media and gaming stuff. And then under here, I set up a little spot to house sort of like baby and toddler toys. I have lots of nieces and nephews, and I like to keep younger baby toys on hand for that. But in here is what I'm really going to be working on. Oh, look at that. And I already have surprises being left for me. A hat, a little Gary frog, and a book already. Well, I guess this will belong here. I'm going to turn this into our master book storage. Don't anticipate that every single book that we have in our house will end up being in here, but this will sort of be like the default spot. I shared in the last video that for me, with my ADHD brain, I like to store things where we actually access and use them, and that works most of the time. There will be, you know, like bedside table books and stuff like that in different spots, or if the kids take a book into their bedroom. But I've noticed with my kids, they don't do a lot of reading in their bedroom. They mostly sit on this couch and read, and we've never stored books in the room where they read them the most. So I think I'm gonna follow my brain and my kids' little brains and try to get this in order over here. So I have a moving box here, which still needs to be unpacked from when we moved almost 9 months ago. That's one of the moving boxes that I pulled out of my office when in the last episode I decluttered in there. It has been sitting here in the living room for an entire week, and I have not touched it because I wanted to take you guys along for this process. And then I have this little white bin on top of it that has books that I've actually just sort of been gathering up from random places around this house. I am not the only neurodivergent person in this household, but that's not my story to share. Just suffice it to say, I could help us all out if I do a little bit of organization and then decluttering along the way. I'm gonna be going through this collection, this box that I haven't opened in 9 months, and if there's stuff in there that my kids simply won't use, that we could pass on to someone else who would enjoy it, then I'll be doing that process as well as we go through this. So let's start here and let's set up some books in this shelf. Do you guys remember these acorn bookends? I got them, I think I thrifted them. They're definitely vintage. Maybe I found them on eBay. I got these in our old house last year, and I'm so happy to see them again. Oh, and there's my pitch pipe. This should have gotten packed with my music stuff. It's weird. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Oh, our wedding album. So sweet. I could sit here and look through our albums for so long. I can't let myself get distracted. One of the motivations for me to complete decluttering and organization projects is that I can then enjoy the fruits of my labors. I can have this all put together and sit down on the couch with my kids and read books together or look through our wedding album. I try my hardest to not let myself get distracted in the moment while I'm going through stuff, because if I let myself, I literally could just spend hours reading through books. Books are a difficult thing for me to declutter. This is kind of like my Achilles heel when it comes to the different categories of stuff around my house. I can declutter clothing with my eyes closed. I do not care about clothing. Books, on the other hand, oh, here's some other music stuff. I guess that's why my pitch pipe was in here. This, I have some vintage sheet music. Oh, it's so sweet. Okay, so I definitely made some progress here. However, I'm a little confused right now because when I had this box out here, I was expecting to find more kids' books. Where is our Brambly Hedge anthology? Where is our Treasury of Frog and Toad? I have several books that I'm just not seeing, and I'm wondering if there's like a box at the top of one of my kids' closets or something that has that in there, because this box was mostly my books, which is understandable that I labeled it to be put into my office because I'll probably have a bookshelf in there at some point. As you can see, we have plenty of room to add to this. I know I'm missing something here. Where are the rest of our books? I'll definitely be taking a peek into the kids' closets. I have a feeling I've got some of that stuff in there. I do have some old journals and stuff, like from when I was a kid, a teenager, young adult, that I'm probably going to put in like a keepsake area. It doesn't really belong out here. And then I have this vintage sheet music, this collection of sheet music that I have, which I'm probably just gonna put this over here at the piano. This piano is from the early 1940s. I love it so, so much. And a lot of this sheet music actually is from the early 1900s, like even earlier than that. Okay, let's venture into, I was just in the boys' closet. I don't think it's in there, but I haven't looked in Haley's closet yet. The kids are playing outside with Weston right now. Actually, they're in the bonus room with the kittens. They spend hours upon hours out there with them, and that's what they're doing right now. Is it that box? Let's see. Look, if this isn't books, I don't know what else would be so heavy. How am I going to get this down? Would you look at that? It says kids books, Haley's books. I think we found it, people. And in my last decluttering video, I said, oh, these are the last moving boxes that we have. Apparently there was one more. Hopefully this is the last one. Okie doke. Okay, so there are some books that will stay in Haley's bedroom because they're kind of also decor. And when you take this top layer off of the books that were in Haley's bedroom, there we go. There are the books that I've been looking for. We have Uncle Arthur's Bible book. That's a vintage one. Frog and Toad. Oh, there's Brambly Hedge. How sweet. I love this book so much. Look at all of these Little House on the Prairie ones. Woo! Deer in the Wood. I was just talking about this one with my kids. So I'm going to just keep those ones that I will keep in Haley's room. She likes those in here. And take the rest out to our little book area. So glad I found this. This is what I was looking for. Just like I have a bin of baby and toddler toys, I am also setting aside some books that my kids have outgrown. They actually still love to play with some baby and toddler toys and read old board books and baby books and stuff like that. But I am going to keep them sort of in a separate spot. I'm going to store them actually with the baby stuff that we have there, just so that they're super easy to access. And then when cousins and friends with their babies come over, we have a spot that's recognizable for them to go back to if they want to pick a book out or whatever for them. It also keeps the older kid books a bit more safe from baby slobber and ripping. Although my kids at almost 8 years old still chew everything, so nothing is really safe in this house. Okay, I'm gonna make some choices as far as board books go, because I actually have duplicates. Oh, look at that, the same one. So I'm going to donate one of them. That one's cute, but I like the classic one better. Just keep the original little blue truck and pass those on. This is actually Haley's first Bible. She got this when she had her little baby dedication at our church, which is kind of like a christening. and I'm gonna put that in her room because this is actually hers. But everything else I think is a nice collection for our little friends. And then I'm noticing up here under our TV, which desperately needs to be wiped down. I need to get an e-cloth out. I keep our Bibles up here and a couple of like theology and Bible study books. But then these things, now that I actually have a book cabinet, these can go into there. And so I have a few categories now of stuff like general groupings. I'm not going in alphabetical order. Style of organizing is pretty loose and macro, and I try to keep it fluid just so that my brain doesn't get overwhelmed. I have a bunch of these little who was books, or what is. So what is the Super Bowl? Who was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart? Lewis and Clark? Sacagawea? I've got books like that there. I've kind of got our Little House books, my first Little House books here, some I Can Read books here. Here's another category that I've got going on with some seasonal books. So I've got some Christmas books. I have several St. Patrick's Day books, like the story of St. Patrick's Day and the actual historical stuff. And I've got a Cinco de Mayo book and fun stuff like that. And then we have some like family and wedding photo albums and stuff like that. And then over here I have our big books, like our anthologies or treasuries. We have Bramley Hedge, Beatrix Potter, there's the Tales of Winnie the Pooh, Frog and Toad, Uncle Arthur Bible book, and everything seems to be fitting nicely with room to spare. So if I come across books that could use a home here, then I do have the room to expand, and then that makes a spot for our Bibles that we have right here to go there. And then I have a bin going on here of stuff that I'm going to just move on from, stuff that we don't really read anymore, and stuff that I can pass on to a thrift store, friends, a local library, you name it. That's what I've got going on here. Again, I'm not counting really percentages or anything like that of what we declutter out of our house anymore, but it is always gratifying to see a nice tidy pile of stuff to get rid of. So I'm happy with that. I'd love to declutter this bedroom, but that is another project for another time. And I just spotted some books in there that will probably end up going out into this cabinet, but I'm going to save those decisions for when I do a declutter of Haley's bedroom. That's gonna be an upcoming messy to minimal video. I'm gonna go through toys and books and clothing and stuff like that in my kids' bedrooms. For now, I think it's time to move on to my office. I think we're gonna head in there because the board game situation, I need help. Okay, here's the office, much as we left it in the last messy to minimal episode, but the game situation is just not working for me. Okay. Boxes and bins, baskets, special organization items. You guys know that it is not my MO to just go out and buy a bunch of stuff like that. I try to use what I already have or use the original packaging of something, because if it works, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is broke though. This is one of those situations where a box or a bin or a tote or a basket or something is definitely going to be a better alternative than the dreaded box for kids' board games. I swear every single board game box that we have, the sides are ripped out, which you could tape up the sides, but then the middle would rip out like this. The packaging for games is awful. And in my last video, I asked you guys for suggestions on how you would organize games, or if you've seen anything that other people do, and I got tons of links. The most suggested thing was something from Amazon, which are these oversized zipper bags, which probably would be a good organizational thing if I was someone who liked using bags, but I am not a bag person, especially zippers. I don't know what it is. Something about zipper bags does not work for me and how my brain and how my kids' brains work. So one of you sent me a suggestion, these bins from the Bright Room line at Target. I've got these, and then there's several that are more shallow than this. I have just a couple of these deeper bins. And so I'm gonna transfer things into here. They have lids. So we are going to take every box down and transfer its contents into one of these bins. And I think I'm actually going to cut out the graphics of the boxes, the original boxes, because I think it's fun to keep these graphics. I could use my Cricut and make pretty like uniform labels, but man, hardly anything in my life is Pinterest worthy as it is, and I think this would be more fun for the kids to have like the original stuff. So maybe I'll just tape these on to the lids and the sides and see how that goes. Let's try this out.
Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. 'Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to love, oh, easier to love, oh.
Okay, this is what we've got going on so far, and already I'm feeling like this is going to be a better alternative. Yes, that was my knee cracking. Like, the kids play Guess Who almost every day, and this box has just, oh my gosh, it has seen better days. This Cubits game that we love, there was this plastic part that was supposed to be kind of like in this window, and that busted out, and so all of these tiny pieces kept falling out. So that's gonna be better. In addition to anything else that has tiny little pieces that can fall out, which is basically every game that we have, except for Twister. But the frustration with Twister is, I mean, can anyone actually fold up the Twister mat to have it fit into the box? I think I will maybe cut the whole top of the box off and stick it to the lid, because there's just something about these 90s kids on that vintage box that warms my heart. And also, like, for this game, Telestrations, I actually had a couple of people comment, why do you have 2 Telestrations games? It's because this is our favorite game to play with our family during the holidays, or anytime really, and we have so many people that we needed many of these little drawing notebook things that the game comes with to accommodate everyone who wants to play. And this game has dry erase pens and stuff in it, and in a bin like this, it is held much better than in a box like this. Games here in our collection that don't need a bin because it's kind of stored in its own little unit, like these Battleship ones that we have. This Mad Gab box here is doing just fine. We have sort of this wooden games collection that has its own storage thing. This is that little like shootout game, which I don't know where the pieces to it is, so I have to keep my eyes out for that. And then Operation is too long to fit into one of the bins that I got from Target. So I think I might just have these 2 things stored together. But I am gonna go through this last bin of things. We have dominoes and little card games, extra like small items and stuff in here. So I have to go through this.
And the light in your eyes tells me stories of life in a more perfect place where I wanna stay. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through.
Finding all sorts of goodies at the bottom of this bin. Little pieces and tokens and dice and cubes and stuff that belongs to other games. So I'm glad I chose to go through this. And I think I'm going to use one of these deeper bins. I don't need both of them. I'm gonna use this for this stuff. So we have our dominoes, Jenga blocks. See, I was already using different packaging for a lot of the stuff because those boxes that they come in they don't cut it, man. We got charades, some other random card games like Old Maid, Spoons, Crazy Eights, Slapjack, stuff like that. Go Fish, War. That brings me back. This is a really fun game. Spot It. Love this game for kids and adults. Apples to Apples, classic. Uno, even more classic. Chicken, that's a really fun game. And then I keep our catchphrase. Ooh, this is another game we play with friends and family during the holidays. Now it's on to just cutting out the labels for the lids and the sides of these bins so that we can have that sort of nostalgic graphic on there for each of our games. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And let's just do it like this. There we go. I feel like the time it took me to cut out the labels and stuff from the boxes and tape it all on, I could have just gotten my Cricut out and done that. That would have been easier, but there's something really charming about these original graphics and stuff. Haley, what do you got going on there?
It's a cake and I made it all by myself. I stacked up all those pieces.
That is amazing.
And it's for my mom.
Thank you. That looks like a delicious cake. I love a many layered cake.
Guess what that red is?
What is it?
The red is a hat.
A hat on the cake? Special.
Not a real hat. It's just a frosting hat.
I love it. Thank you very much.
You would eat the whole thing.
Okay.
It's easier to love. Oh, oh, easier to love. Oh, oh, easier to love.
Well, this is so much better. These bins do take up more space than the original boxes. But that's also kind of the idea, because one of my main complaints about those boxes is that it's nearly impossible to fit everything back in, especially when you have the bigger games like this, or the one with the boat, the shark one. This is the era of games that we're in with our kids. There are seasons to things. I get questions all the time. Why are you always decluttering? I could just answer back with, why are my children always growing? In a few years, some of these games may not be a part of our collection anymore because my kids will outgrow them, and then maybe we'll swap something different in, maybe a different system will work for us, but for now, I can see this working really well. If in your situation, in your home, you are tight on space, then maybe those zipper pouches that everyone was suggesting would be a better option than these bins, because you could just sort of put those zipper pouches into a basket and save some space that way. Space really isn't the issue for us, it's more about function for us, and I think this is going to function really, really well. This is the master pile of stuff that we are moving on from. So there's those books that we no longer want. We had a few board games that the last time I was doing decluttering I decided to keep, but this time I'm deciding not to. So Taboo, Trouble, Count Your Chickens, that's one my kids really loved, but they have outgrown it, so we're moving on from that. This is all the packaging and the boxes that I broke down and cut out to put them into their new bins. Well, not decluttering Anna and Elsa down there. Haley was just playing in here with me. But this is a good amount of stuff. And these boxes that are being recycled, this is actually representing one of those sort of swap situations that you see when you're decluttering sometimes. Sometimes you're saying goodbye to things because you swapped something better in to your inventory. We're not always moving toward having less, we're moving toward having function and having simplicity. It was not a simple task for us to try to put those games back in those horrible broken up boxes. This is going to be an easier, simpler, more functional system than the boxes were. And yes, we are getting rid of a few games, so in the end we do have less stuff technically, but that's why I don't really count things anymore. I'm not really keeping track of how much we have and how much we get rid of. It was important for me to do that with the first wave of Messy to Minimal because we had so much stuff when we started out, and we got rid of so much stuff that it was sort of like my nerd side really enjoying seeing, well, how little can we live with? How little can we get down to? And it was so awesome to go through that process. But now we're in maintenance mode. There will be times when our inventory is a little bit more, and there will be times when we need less in our inventory in order to be more simplistic around here and more peaceful in our house. It's going to create so much more peace when it comes time to say, hey kids, let's clean up the games on the floor. They're not going to be like, this is so hard, and you know, freaking out and further ripping the boxes as they go. So just some encouragement to you. If you see videos out there where people are getting rid of piles of stuff, which I have plenty of those videos because I was legitimately getting rid of piles of stuff, that's not some sort of standard that we have to live up to. Decluttering takes on different forms. And that's why I want to continue to share this messy to minimal journey with you guys. This was messy before, and now I have minimal packaging going on. So we truly did go messy to minimal, but I don't have to have a stack of stuff that I'm getting rid of taller than I am in order to continue to be on this journey toward that more simple living sort of goal. So I just want to share that encouragement with you guys, but I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you got some realistic decluttering motivation from it. We only tackled 2 projects. It took me all day and it took me a half an hour's worth of a video to share it with you, but don't underestimate the power of doing smaller projects and baby steps in order to reach your goals. You don't have to go through your entire house and every single thing you own in order to reap those benefits of decluttering and organization and simple living.
Okay, so we are here with the last video in my Messy to Minimal series that I shared last year that I'm also including in this marathon, and it's my favorite place in the house to do decluttering and organization: the kitchen, the heart of the home. I kept these videos for this marathon in chronological order just so that you could see the progression of how I went about decluttering in my home in this last year. And this kitchen declutter was one of my favorite Messy to Minimal episodes that I made last year, just because I feel like I really landed in a spot that made sense for me, how my brain works, how our family works, our needs. We had been living in our renovated, remodeled kitchen for several months, and I was able to make some changes that were really impactful and that were long lasting. I actually shared with you guys in last week's video that I'm going to be revisiting my very first Messy to Minimal episodes that I started 3 years ago in 2020. And I'm going to be going episode by episode as closely as I can, following the order that I went through in our old house when I first started out on this minimalism journey. And my first episode in that series back 3 years ago was in the kitchen. And the kitchen continues to be the place that I go back to. It's the spot that I declutter most often because it's probably the highest traffic area of our house. And so if you're looking for some decluttering motivation specifically for the kitchen, then you're in the right place. If you are still here watching this marathon, thank you so much for sticking around. If you haven't given the video a thumbs up yet, I would love it so much if you would do so. And if you need some more decluttering motivation, then just stay tuned, because next week I've got more coming for you and lots more coming in January 2023. So let's kick off this last video in the marathon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.
Well, hey friends, it's Natalie. So glad you stopped by to hang out with me today while I declutter and organize this kitchen. And I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now just even saying those words, so thank you for being here and for giving me some moral support. This is another Messy to Minimal episode, which, if you're new here, that's the series that I started a couple of years ago where I just decided enough was enough, and I went through every single thing that we own, and in about a year's time, my husband and I were able to get rid of over 90% of our stuff. We're not really counting things anymore. Nowadays, it's much more about maintaining and just pursuing simplified living. And so this is the next step on that journey. Decluttering is more of a lifestyle, especially when you have young children. And our kids have been helping themselves to the kitchen and the food a little bit more than they used to, and so stuff definitely gets disheveled, but I'm not gonna blame it all on the kids because my husband and I are are definitely mess makers too. So we're gonna take this place from messy to more minimal. I think the first place that we're going to declutter is the pantry storage, like grab and go food storage that we have in our kitchen island. This is where I keep a lot of those snacks and produce and fresh stuff that we have on hand. And right now it is a hot mess. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and get started. I'm so glad you're here with me. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy it while you're watching it, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more from me. Drop this emoji in the comments so that I can get down there and chat with you guys a little bit more. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, how about you get up and we will declutter something together. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be an entire room of your house. Pick something small and let's get that ball rolling. You think we have enough apples? There is nothing like starting with a small task to get the ball rolling and to make me feel like I can tackle bigger things. Getting through these drawers, it didn't take me very much time at all, but wow, what a difference it makes. A non-refrigerated fruit and veggie drawer. So I think that's what this top drawer is gonna be. I've got this little drawer divider in here, fruits, veggies, and then this bottom drawer is going to be the bread drawer, possibly bread and crackers. And I think this is going to work much better for how we've arranged the pantry storage in our cabinet. Let's work on the spice cabinet. Should that be what we do next? You guys know I don't get all fancy about decanting things into special jars if I don't need to. My philosophy toward transferring anything into a new container is, does the original packaging that it comes in hinder its ease of use? So I decant bags of flour and sugar and stuff like that because I don't want to deal with those. And a lot of the time when you're dealing with bags of stuff, it's a more sustainable option because you don't have all of this clunky packaging that you're having to deal with after you're done using it. So we've shopped at bulk stores before, and now that I've ordered a couple of things from Thrive, there are some things that need to be transferred. So I usually just try to use old jars from spices that I have made my way through. I'll just kind of repurpose them. We have our pepper and salt grinders. So I'm going to fill up this new Himalayan pink salt from Thrive into here. I've tried the whole uniform little spice jars with special labels and stuff like that, and while it looks great on Pinterest, it does not work for me. There's a time and a place for repackaging things or decanting things, but most of the time for me, I just use the bottle that it originally comes in. I cannot find our pepper grinder. It's the matching one to the salt. I still have to go through the other shelf of spices. Maybe it's up there, and then I will transfer the black peppercorns. But that's my philosophy. I do have some little mason jars, like if I don't have something available to transfer something into, I always try to find something that I already have on hand, which is another, I'm gonna go through all of these cabinets, but that is another thing that I need to go through, is my little like mason jar, jam jar collection. Hi. So I'm gonna be grabbing little mason jars down from there because I'd like to put some of this Italian seasoning, this Cajun seasoning that I got from Thrive into those. looking definitely more tidy in here. We have our bulk spices up at the top, sweet and savory spice bins. These are the things that I don't use on a weekly basis but still want access to. This is sort of like Weston's barbecuing smoked meats turntable. We have honey and peanut butter up here, and then down here is sort of our most used spices. This eclectic mix in its different bottles, and this is our oil and vinegar little rounder that we use. Also have vanilla extract there. I pretty much always opt for function over fanciness, especially as I've gotten older, as my kids have gotten older. I just don't have time to make things look Pinterest worthy. Not to mention the work to maintain a Pinterest worthy space. So if your spice cabinet or spice drawer looks eclectic and mixed, you've got plastic packaging mixed with glass, you are not alone and you're not doing it wrong. Looking so much better in there, and then I have a little declutter pile going on with empty packaging or other spices that we're moving on from or we don't like anymore. And now I'm going to move on to the other side of what is by the stove. This cabinet could really use some attention. This is sort of our like drinks cabinet, and there's just stuff in here that we don't use anymore or empty packaging, etc. So let's declutter this cabinet. Oh, just the person I want to talk to.
What?
How many shaker bottles do you realistically need?
One.
One?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's just
that is music to my ears.
no, I don't feel it's mine.
Stop. Found the pepper. It was in the, like, your protein and stuff.
No, honey.
No, it
I
really,
just slipped it up there. Oh, honey, I
it
found it.
literally, I have video proof. It literally was. Okay, this is all arranged. I think we need to drop this shelf a little bit lower. It's just not necessary to have it be that high up there because the stuff on the next shelf isn't too tall. I have some of Weston's stuff up here, and then some coffee and like mocktail. I like these mixers from this brand. They're so yummy, non-alcoholic, and they just kind of pump up any little drink that I like to make. And then I have coffee stuff there, some stevia. This is my coffee station for right now. Look at that. I got the espresso machine out. A couple of you noticed it in my last video. But now that the espresso machine is out, we have not been using this Keurig. I bought this Keurig last year at Thanksgiving, Christmas time so that I could serve our guests easily. They could make themselves coffee. Pretty user-friendly system, more so than an espresso machine is, but we just don't use it anymore now that the espresso machine is here. It's worth it for us to put the little bit of extra effort into espresso. So I'm not ready to like declutter the Keurig, but I think I am going to put it with my hostessware and stuff that I bring out when we have guests, because right now it's just taking up space. I think it looks kind of funny with those two things side by side. I don't know. This is something that I am considering and thinking about. I'm going to take a peek into this drawer, which I don't think that this really needs any decluttering. This is where I store the chocolate. I'm gonna keep that there. I have just been putting hot pads right here because I had this empty space and it's right next to the stove. I have some hormonal supplements and stuff that I take, as well as the tea. And I have loose tea, I have tea bags in this organizer, and this drawer has been working really well. So nothing really to do here, but this spot right here. So we have these glass food storage containers. This lid actually goes to one of our mixing bowls and does not belong down here. Remind me to put that away. So the top drawer was for food storage, and I like to store food storage. Oh look, a tea bag. A tea bag fell down into this drawer. I like to store our food storage after it's come out of the dishwasher. We make sure that it's thoroughly dry, and then we pop the lids on. That way, there's never a mismatch of lids to bottoms. That's a system that I've been doing for years, not just in this house or this kitchen, and it works really well. But sometimes, especially when we've got kiddos, taking more responsibility and learning how to do chores, do get a little bit of mismatching happening. I'm wondering if the bottom to this is in the dishwasher right now. I don't know. So this drawer is working just fine. There's even a little bit of room to expand. But this drawer down here, this was for lunch boxes. So Weston had like these collapsible lunch boxes. Haley had a couple of lunch boxes here that we would sort of rotate through when she was going to her little morning preschool last year. And then we have these little thermos like soup containers that when the boys were at that kindergarten preschool, they would bring hot food in this. We haven't touched these. Getting into this new school year with all 3 of them being exclusively homeschooled, we're not using these. But they're a really nice thing to have on hand if we're gonna go on a trip or a hike or something and we wanna bring warm food with us. I say that acting like we're this outdoorsy family that goes on hikes and trips and stuff, but we really don't. And they're small, so the amount that they hold is less than what any of us in this house would actually eat. And I think that right there is the kicker for me. I'd probably be better off just getting like one of those big legit thermoses, like the old green ones, and donating these ones to someone who could actually use it, because these are like made for kids, but my kids don't eat like kids anymore, especially my boys. It's like I have a teenager in the house. So then that just leaves Weston's one food storage container, which I think can be stored with our glassware, and I'm going to make this drawer baking glassware, which means I actually have to go into the Lazy Susan lower corner cabinet and grab the other glassware and stuff that I have in there, which means I now have to declutter over there. I feel like a ping pong ball sometimes when I am decluttering. It's just like back and forth between multiple places because you declutter one spot and it affects the other. I'm down on this floor doing decluttering and I'm realizing how crummy it is. So before we continue decluttering, I'm gonna do a little vacuum. Stop myself before I vacuum the entire house. Does that ever happen to you? This is another one of those items that I got specifically for like school lunches. For like cutting out cheese or pieces of fruit. I am just not that mom. This is one of those items kind of like thinking, oh, if I hold on to these thermoses, if we become a sort of outdoorsy hiking sort of family, it's your fantasy self. I've talked about this before in my decluttering or like simple living videos. And I think the chances of me regularly using this are so slim that the next time I go through this and do my decluttering in the kitchen, I'm gonna say no. So I'm gonna save myself the trouble and just say goodbye today. So that is the lower shelf for now. Things seem to be pretty stable as I turn the Lazy Susan, or actually this is technically a Super Susan. Bottom shelf is fine, top shelf is a little crazy. These are lids that I thrifted for mason jars. That needs to go up with the mason jars. It's just literally in the wrong spot. I should have ordered brown sugar with my Thrive Market order. Quite a few random things of chocolate chips. Thing of shredded coconut, which I should transfer. Or shake coconut out of a mason jar, then have to deal with a Ziploc bag for sure. A thing of raisins here, but these are actually being eaten as snacks more than I'm using them for baking, which is why I originally put it here. So I'm going to slide that on over and put it in the snack drawer underneath the microwave, and on the odd chance that I need some raisins for baking, I'll know where they are. So I keep my large mason jars of stuff like baking soda, brown sugar, which I need to refill, white sugar, here in the center, and then I have some things like baking powder, baking cocoa in here. These containers that I made for this Lazy Susan, this whole system, is working beautifully. We love it. We access this every day, especially for our protein pancake mix, our oats, and our rice. I'll just be standing here. I'll bring the rice cooker down, grab a scoop of rice. We keep just a 1 cup measuring cup on the top of these bins, and we'll just go back and forth between the rice. It is such an easy, streamlined process. I am so happy with how it's working. Each of these chocolate chips are something different. I wonder if I should put like a little basket here just to kind of hold the bags of chocolate chips. What do you think? Or I could just put them there and call it good and do a better job of keeping them tidy. Much better in the lower corner cabinet, but now let's address the upper corner cabinet. So this one right here, we have had our small appliances. Something you might recognize as different is that I don't have our big Instant Pot pressure cooker. The main use for that gigantic pressure cooker was to cook oatmeal in the morning or rice for dinner, and so I replaced it in here with this very basic, it's just a Nutriware rice cooker. It works like a charm. It's exactly what we need size-wise for the daily oatmeal and rice that we cook. The pressure cooker is now in the cabinet that's right there above the fridge. Hello, Minecraft on the TV. I mean, would one of my videos be complete without seeing Minecraft on the TV? I always film when it's their screen time. But up here above the fridge, I have some of the food storage containers that we put into the fridge for storing veggies and stuff like that. When they're not being used, I pop them up there, and then I also, there was a ton of room, so I just put that big pressure cooker up there. I am going to give that pressure cooker its chance during the holiday season to see if I bring it out often enough to warrant keeping it. I'm not a big small appliances person. We have just a couple of things. We have a countertop toaster oven, a blender, and the rice cooker. That's it as far as small appliances go. Oh, and the espresso machine. But that stays out on the counter, though we like to put a lot of our small appliances away. And it's actually been really easy to do it in this cabinet. But stuff up here, we've got blender, accessories and stuff like that. It's just kind of gotten a little bit jumbled, and there's probably some things that we could say goodbye to. More things to add to the declutter box, just a couple of lids that we don't need, they're just extra, and then the recipe book for our rice cooker, we just don't need it, so that's in there. This cabinet's looking a lot better. I'll just put the little blender bottle right there. Lots of crumbs from that toaster oven, but that's better now in there. And then I think I'm just going to quickly straighten up this cabinet and see if I can find anything to declutter out. Much better. Okay, this looks good. I grabbed a couple of things to declutter out. This is going to be moved whenever we make our way through a little glass yogurt jar. I put it in my candle making bin because we like to pour our own beeswax candles, which is what I think I'm gonna do with this one here. I don't think this is food safe. I got this I actually found it on the side of the road. Someone had a pile of free stuff. This reminds me of that, I think it's like a 5-wick candle from the Hearth and Hand line at Target right now. I thought when I get my beeswax melted and going for the little beeswax candles we make, I could pour a big candle and put multiple wicks in this one. So I'm gonna put both of these into the little candle making bin. But now I just wanna go through this cabinet. This is the cabinet that it's really important for me to have it tidy because it has glass doors. Just have some random stuff in here like this. Have a mason jar back here. Serve treats at a football party and put it onto this. So I think that's gonna go back up here. And we can put this little amber glass on top of it. I think I'm gonna take these down. These are my 2 fall time mugs. This little tableau, I don't know. I'm not good at styling shelves. It is definitely not one of my talents. We don't need this anymore because I actually don't have this teapot. So I can declutter that out. I'm gonna ask Weston about this coffee cup. Do you drink out of this coffee cup anymore? Okay. Sort of our everyday plates and bowls and cups here on these 2 lower shelves, and then the more dressy or nice occasion things, and then some decor pieces up there at the top. So I think that's good for now. Definitely found a few things to declutter out. Glass could use a good wipe down. That's another thing about a glass front cabinet is it takes a bit more maintenance, but that's okay. I really love how this cabinet turned out. And now I'm taking these coffee mugs down from that cabinet because I don't display these. I just drink out of them, along with Weston's mug that he likes to use. I'm going to transfer them over here to this cabinet, which now has room in it. And now I think I'm ready to take the Keurig out, give it a little wash down, and store it with the hostessware. Keurig found a home in that cabinet above the fridge next to the Instant Pot. And now I'm just going to rapid fire get through the rest of these drawers and cabinets. I know this video has been quite chatty up until this point, so thank you so much for giving me a space where I can sort of think out loud and work through things and really just bring you in on my thought process and how I go about doing my decluttering and organizing. So I'm gonna pop you up on a tripod, play some music for you. If you haven't gotten up and done some decluttering with me yet, here's another chance. We've got a bit of this video left. Let's do this together. Decluttering the kids' plates and bowls drawer, and I'm looking over at our dining room table and it's just covered in plates and bowls. So I know they all fit in here and I know we use them all, but I was able to get a couple of things out of here that we don't use. These straws, they're all chewed on. We don't even have the cup that goes to this lid. So that can get tossed into the donate box. Actually, the chewed up straw, I'm gonna throw away. I don't think anyone would want that. And now it's time to move on to the most dreaded cabinet in the kitchen.
So
was done by working under here, my most dreaded spot, which ended up not being too bad. Things are always bigger and tougher in our minds than we think they're gonna be. But then I realized that I forgot about the cooking utensils drawer, which is just about the craziest spot in this kitchen. So I'm gonna finish off this project by getting this taken care of. I realized I forgot to show you what's in this drawer, but it's actually empty. This is where my kitchen towels go. Can you tell I need to do laundry? But that just about does it. It feels so nice in here to get stuff straightened up and decluttered. I was able to fill this Thrive Market box with the stuff that I am decluttering out. I also have a kitchen garbage bag full of the garbage and another one halfway full of recycling. So this feels good to be able to say goodbye to these things. Now that this room is under control, I am so looking forward to doing some cozy autumn and holiday baking and cooking, and I'll be sure to share some of that with you guys in blog posts or in videos here on my channel. Make sure you're subscribed and you have that bell button turned on so you don't miss future videos from me, whether it's another messy to minimal decluttering episode like this one or a cooking video. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Thanks so much for spending a little part of it here with me on my channel, and I'll catch you later.